So today I'm going to show you guys how to make Ahsoka Tano's costume. The materials list is in the description box below, so let's get started. So Ahsoka's dress is actually like a dark navy blue, but black is easier to come by, so I got this black stretch velvet dress for $2.50 at the local secondhand shop. And if your dress has sleeves, you just want to cut them off like I'm doing here, so that you end up with a tank top style dress. So here it is once the sleeves are cut off. And then you just want to take a sewing pin or a safety pin, some kind of marker, and mark off where it needs to sit on your legs. And then cut that off short where that pin was. Should be at a point in the front side. It's flat on the back. And then since this is not a turtleneck dress, I just took some of the extra skirt that I'd cut off and I sewed that around the collar to make the turtleneck part of it. So then take some metallic silver puffy paint. You just want to paint on all the silver designs that she had on her dress. Well, pretty simple to do, just basically straight lines here and there. So here's what the full front of the dress looks like. And then I did the back as well with puffy paint designs. So then you want to take some pellon and cut out the side shapes. I do have a template for this. And you'll cut out the small piece as well, and that'll fit right over the other one, but you're not going to attach that just yet. First you want to take some black strips. I'm using black distressed fabric here. You want something a little different than your dress, so that it adds contrast. And sew those 3 strips in place so that you get layers. And then take the short piece, and you want to put some of the leftover dress fabric over it. So I'm using more of that black stretch velvet. Then take some silver fabric. This is left over from my Thranduil costume. And you want to sew that along the edges so that you're sewing it to the black material and the pellon. And the stitch lines give it texture, so I kind of like those actually. So then the little piece will get sewn onto the big piece, and it should cover the bottom of those 3 strips that you put on. So there it is once it's all sewn. And then on another piece of pellon, cut a curved piece, and some more silver fabric. You're just going to sew the silver fabric onto the pellon. So here it is once it's sewn, and then I cut it off so that the edges were even with the pellon. And that will just get sewn on to the top of the other piece you've been working on. Just like that. So then I did a little oval pellon and sewed some silver fabric to it. And then a little black oval of that distressed fabric, and glued that right into the center. And I made 2 of those. Those are going to be the little buckles. So then, while you're wearing your dress, and whatever leggings you're going to wear under it so you get a proper fit, position the side pieces where they need to sit on your hips, and then measure where the cross will be in the front, where they cross in the front, and the buckle will get sewn over those. You can trim those pieces if they're too long. And so then, once you've got that on, turn it around. It's easier to do from the front, so I just turned it around. And you want to measure where it needs to close. Then you'll just sew a snap onto one side and the corresponding snap onto the other, so you can bring them around and snap those in place. And so then your other buckle, you'll just sew onto one layer of that so you can snap them in place and the buckle will stay on. So you should end up with this, front and back. I forgot to put these on, but just do them with pellon and silver fabric and glue those into the center of each side piece. So then trace the bracers out onto a piece of pellon and cut them out. I actually ran out of pellon, so I'm just using craft foam at this point, but pellon works much better. And sew a little bit of silver fabric onto your pellon bracer. And cut the silver off so it's flush with all the edges. And in the centers too. So you should end up with this. And then take some more fabric left over from your dress. You want to cut a piece so the edges of it get smaller at the end. It should fit around your forearm. So you'll just sew it along the one side, sew it shut, leaving the 2 ends open. So flip it right side out. You end up with a little sleeve that goes over your forearm. And then the metallic looking silver bracer part will go right over the top of it. You can sew it, but I just hot glued it on there to make it easy. And then you'll be able to just slip the whole bracer right on over your arm. Since I'm using black stretch velvet, it's elasticy, so the fabric is nice and stretchable. And then for the hand guards, just make a square rounded edges, and then take a piece of black fabric that will go around your hand, again smaller at one end. You just want to sew along the very bottom of the silver part. That's pellon covered in silver again. And then you'll sew, bring the edges up, and sew the black fabric along the one edge. Flip it right side out. Cut a little hole for your thumb. Then just slip that right over your hand. And unfortunately, I accidentally forgot to film the shin guards, so what I did was I cut this part, and then I sewed silver fabric over it and just put some elastic on the back. And now the answer to one of the most important questions in Star Wars history. How does it agree to wear a hat? One on each Montreal, of course. And I had originally planned to do the makeup in this, but then I realized that I didn't have any orange or white because I'd used them up, and I don't normally wear makeup, so I'd just forgotten to get more. So I photoshopped this just so you could see what it looked like. Hope you enjoy.